Do you want to try Islay Scotch, but you're scared of the peat? Well, don't worry. I got the perfect whiskey for you today. Hey, welcome back to another review. Bringing you Bruichladdich The Classic Laddie Scottish Barley, an unpeated Islay Scotch Whisky coming in at 50% alcohol. This is a no-age statement whiskey from the core range of Bruichladdich. I enjoy this bottle a lot. Hope you enjoy the review. And as always, cheers. What does an unpeated Islay smell like? Well, let's find out. Right off the bat, incredible coastal vibes. A little earthy, but that really nice, light, salty mist air. Very good. Very bright and fragrant, really floral. It's crazy because this is an unpeated Bruichladdich. It's crazy the other flavors you get out of here because I'm used to the peat, but right here, it's very fruity and very sweet. And when I say sweet, I mean brown sugar, vanilla, and when I say fruity, I get a lot of pineapple, some lemon zest, and a little bit of apples in here. It is almost like a citrusy, zesty orchard, but it's very well balanced. You can catch each note individually, and I love that about my noses, because all you gotta do is turn your nose, turn the glass, you get those extra notes, and you can pinpoint them. Nothing overtakes the other. It's a nice orchestra. I love how noses do that with really well-made whiskeys. This nose is really good. It's not what you would expect out of an Islay. Again, it's unpeated, so you're getting a lot of brightness here. That's what I like. It's light, it's bright, it's sweet, and it's fruity, and it blends all of that into a really nice bouquet. And it's a thinner bodied whiskey as we'll get into the palate, but this is really inviting. And if you're scared of Islay, don't be. This thing is so good. You will not know this is Islay unless you read it on the label. So, because of that, I'm giving this nose a 4. It is very, very good. It's not quite as complex as other whiskeys I've had. However, it's $65 as we'll get into the value. So it's a very cheap bottle for what it is, and it just packs full flavor, very rich, very layered, very well balanced. So 4 in the nose, that's what it tastes like. Let's check these legs out, shall we? Yeah, they're quick legs. This is a light-bodied whiskey. It should coat the mouth really quickly and have that nice little oily feel. So let's sip it. Oh my goodness. You would not expect this whiskey is 50%. It is so light and it's so smooth, and it does not drink that high. It probably drinks to me around 42, 43, that nice little lower sweet spot, and it's packed full of flavor. I was surprised when I pulled this bottle that it was 50%. It is that good and it's that delicate. But right off the bat, I'm getting a lot of sweeter notes digging their teeth into my gums. You know, again, that brown sugar, there's some caramel, a little bit of like cookies and chocolate going in there too. This is very rich in that sweet category, and the vanilla is sitting around nicely as well. But on top of that, you have that nice coastal salt spray of air that's just really going around your mouth. It's kind of like, honestly, I'm imagining just sprays of salt water around my mouth right now. That's how it kind of tastes, on top of all those other sweet notes that have that nice layer. So what's that second sip? Very orangey, very honey. It is lighter bodied, but that second sip there had a little bit of viscosity to it, and I think there's a nice lemon honey vibe. It's very citrusy, almost tropical fruit. Again, but that blends really nicely in with those sweet notes. And right now, all those notes just like are sitting on the back middle of my tongue. It's like a pocket. They're all sitting there. They're all layered. They're all blending really nicely. This is a really nice blend of flavors. This is probably right now my favorite unpeated Islay I've had, and it is very, very reasonable priced. But these first 2 sips, man, 50% alcohol, that does not taste 50%. It's probably, again, more like 42, and a very rich, well-flavored experience. So giving you all of that, what do I think I'm gonna give this rating for the palate? Well, it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and I'm getting a lot more of that really nice coastal salt along with the rest of the notes we've already discussed. It is superb. So I'm gonna give the palate a 4.5. It is extremely well made because Bruichladdich makes some of the best distillate on Scotland. At least that's what I believe and think. I've had a bunch of them and I love that distillery. And it is a pretty cheap whiskey, but it packs a great amount of flavor and a good experience. So I'm gonna give the palate a 4.5. Check out that finish. Okay, now the finish. Generally with Islays, the peat and the extra ABV help bring those finishes for a long ride, which you know I enjoy long finish. This one doesn't have the peat, but it's got the 100 proof, the 50% alcohol. So the finish is sitting around really nicely. I'm not getting a lot of the sweetness on the finish, and the finish is more on the kind of like front middle of my tongue. I'm gonna say the finish is a long lasting, but more salty, earthy with a touch of vanilla and maybe a smidgen of the apple kind of like orchard that I got on a lot of that palate. So those flavors are sitting around a good amount of time, and actually the back of my throat and the back of my tongue are getting really warm. The 50% has helped carrying it through. A lot of the flavors I'm getting, again, are on the front and kind of underneath my tongue. It's sitting right there. That's where this thing wants to sit, and it's great. It's perfect when your tongue's in your mouth and you're talking and you're just breathing. So I think the finish is lasting a good amount of time. It has a decent number of flavors, so I'm gonna give the finish there a 4. Just really good experience all around with the nose, the palate, and the finish. And the value as well, next session, is also really good. So 4 on the finish. So the value, this thing is around $65 to $70. It is a great value. If you want to try Islay but you're scared of the peat, this thing is very good. Unpeated, nothing in there. You would not know that it was the standard Islay if you didn't read the label. It is an absolutely great experience. It is very cheap, and I don't think you'd be disappointed if you grab this bottle. It is fruit, it is sweet, it is coastal, it is superbly balanced, it layers on itself, it is so good. And again, for $70, the value is almost kind of hard to beat. So I'm gonna give the value here a 4.5. Maybe not a 5 quite yet. I think it could be a little cheaper. Bruichladdich is kind of a premium price tag, but that's okay. This is very good. Doesn't have to be a perfect score, but 4.5 I think is very good. Look at that overall. So that's 17 out of 20. Absolutely great score for a $70 bottle. I love Bruichladdich. The Classic Laddie is what I started with when I got into Bruichladdich, and I like the bottle as well. I don't talk about that enough, but they make really nice, simplistic looking bottles that look striking on your shelves. I love the color. It's something that I enjoy about Bruichladdich. The only thing I don't enjoy is their Octomore bottles are very tall, but that doesn't matter right now. But I think there might be a nice chance that my wife might not hate this bottle. Again, it's fruity, it's sweet, it's not super high ABV, and I think it's delicate enough that people that aren't quite into whiskey just yet might not hate it. So let's see what she says. Okay, wife time. Now, this is an Islay, but there is no smoke in there. I think you might not hate it, but again, you don't like whiskey, so you're not gonna love it. But it's, for me, fruity, it's sweet, and it's very smooth. So give that guy a try, we'll see what happens. You will probably hate it, but that is okay. You don't have to like it, but you gotta try something, huh? Wow, look at that. Can I maybe agree with a second sip, maybe? Just do it slowly and don't be too eager. You know what? Look at that. So Bruichladdich, Classic Laddie, Unpeated. Somebody that has been hating my whiskey lately. That was a good reaction for her. So I think that's a win for us. Like this video, give it a like, not subscribe it, make sure you do so you don't miss my videos every Wednesday. But until then, see you next time.